Hey, my friends, Mark Cunningham at Grace Property Management. So if you are like a lot of other PMs out there, you're experiencing this right now. I cannot tell you how many property managers I've heard from that are freaking out and they're like, Mark, all my owners are selling. Now, not all of their owners are selling, but a much higher percentage than sometimes in the past have sold. And we're seeing that, especially in certain geographic areas right now, at a higher rate than in years past. So the question is like, what do we do? We're freaking out. What do we do? What do we do? So let me offer you a couple thoughts around what's going on right now in our industry and some best practices to help us navigate this weird time. So number one is this, what is happening? If you've been in this business for less than 10 years, you probably are freaking out. Because for the last actually 15 years, let me tell you how this business has worked. And I only say this because we've been doing this for over 4 decades. So we've been through different swings in the market. Well, the last 15 years, the easiest way to get new owner-client businesses is to open your front door. Because what we found is there's a line of people who want to hire us to manage their home. Because over the last 15 years, we've had a lot of changes economically, haven't we? We had the foreclosure crisis. And what did all the buyers during the foreclosure crisis wanted to do? They all wanted to rent it out. And who do they want to hire? They wanted to hire people like you and like me. So that was great for us. When interest rates went crazy low, buyers came in. That was great for us, wasn't it? Yeah, that was really, really good. When everything has been happening, it's been good for our industry as the PM side of things because people had been fascinated and loving buying rental real estate for the last couple decades, but really the last, 10 years, like there's this fascination. Everybody wants to own rental real estate. Well, that's shifting a little bit, isn't it? It's shifting for a couple reasons. Number one, prices are high. So if you were ever thinking about selling, now may be a good time to sell. Number two, you've got this crazy legislation we've been dealing with. If a tenant doesn't want to pay rent, they kind of don't have to pay and there's not a lot you can do about it. That's not attractive for a landlord. Number three, the rate of return, cap rates, to use that financial thing, they're awful. They've never been lower. It financially is not necessarily the best investment right now. And there's other reasons, but for those reasons alone, the market is shifting. People aren't as attracted to buying investment real estate on a whole as they have been over the time. It's a cycle. It'll cycle back. But that's what's happening right now, is we're just changing the cycle type of a thing. So here's recommendation number 2. Don't fight the market, okay? The market is bigger than you, it's stronger than you, and if you try to fight it, you will lose. So you know what? Owners are gonna sell right now. It is what it is. If you get into this mentality of, I better talk all my owners out of selling. No, don't talk them out of selling. You know what? It's a seller's market right now. This is the market we're in. Don't try to fight it. Embrace the market. And I'll tell you how to do that with number 3 here. Ideally, you want to sell in-house. Now, if you say, we don't do sales in our company. We're strictly property management, and that helps us work with real estate agents because they send us leads. Okay, I get that. But the next time your owner-client calls and says, hey, you know what? I heard these horror stories, and when the tenant moves out, I don't want to take a chance anymore. I've got good capital gains. I want to sell and get out of here. Okay, I'm sorry to hear that. Rather than talking them into staying, say to them, okay, hey, no problem. Mr. Owner, I work with a lot of other real estate investors, obviously. Is it okay? Can I reach out to them? Because I may have a buyer for you in my pool of current clients over here. They may want to buy your property. I mean, what's that owner going to say? No? He's like, well, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. And then so maybe you reach out to a couple. Hey, I've got a great occupied property. Use it as an excuse to reach out to your current owner clients. Call them, email them, whatever. Then you go back to client number 1. Be like, hey, I do have somebody that'd be very interested in buying it. So if we did this, we'd be the agent on the transaction and we'd charge you a fee of X, which, you want to keep it low enough to attract them. But yeah, well, your tenant doesn't have to move out. You can just, sign paperwork and close. And they love it. They sell, you're their agent. You get that sales transaction. This person doesn't have an agent, so you're kind of doing both sides of the deal. And guess who gets to continue managing the property? Yeah, that's like a home run. That's a win-win. So try to keep these things in-house. And this is such an opportunity that we miss out on, I think, as people. We could talk about that for the next hour. And by the way, if you're a member of our video coaching group, I think last month, we went into detail on this, how to do that, how to get sales in-house. So if you're not a member of that group, come on, get on board. I'll put a link in here. Join every month. It's like this on steroids, plus docs. We give you downloads. We give you forms, all that stuff. But we tell you one deal on that will make it worth it over 1,000 times. Before I tell you number 3, let me thank the sponsor for this video, Citizen Home Solutions. Free to you and to me as a PM. Some of those magic words. They help tenants with their utility transfers. They help them get their cable set up. They help them get a security system. They do all that on behalf. They are a concierge, and I love saying that word, concierge service for your tenants that you can give it your tenants as a benefit. It's awesome, and it's free to you. And you say, Mark, how can that be? Click the link. I'll put a link in here. You can see more about Citizen Home Solution, but reach out to them. Long-term members in the PM community, awesome guys and gals. They will get you set up. Okay, number 4 piece of advice. Do not get used. When your owner client does decide to sell and you're out of the picture completely, right? They're just going to use their brother-in-law who's an agent and they just want to terminate. Sometimes you get drug in ways you don't want to get drug in. So let me tell you 2 ways that I specifically recommend you don't get used. Number 1 is on the security deposit return. If the owner is firing you to sell their property, because that'll happen, then maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't be the one doing the make ready for them to sell and then doing the security deposit return for those items that were damaged and were replaced or fixed on the make ready. Why? Because you've been fired. You're out of the picture. Now there's more information about that, but think about that a little bit. When it doesn't make sense for you to get involved on a security deposit return, or worse yet, on a make ready, why would you do a make ready if you're not going to be managing the property going forward? I don't think you should. And more information on that, we don't have time to get into that. Maybe we'll put a link in there. We've got another video on why and when you should not do a security deposit return. But don't get sucked into that, number 1. And number 2, don't get sucked into helping other agents. Because if the owner's not going to use you and they're going to use their brother-in-law Larry, well, what's Larry going to say to the owner when he goes in? First of all, he's going to say, hey, I need you, Mark, the property manager, to meet my brother-in-law Larry at the property, let him in and do a walkthrough. You're like, so like you're firing me, it's like adding insult to injury, right? I've got to go let another agent into the property. That agent's going to walk it. He's going to go back to the owner. Here's what they're going to say. You know, that Mark over at Grace Management, he has not been taking very good care of your property. I mean, he's let the tenant do some damage in there. We're going to need to do new carpet and new paint. And I don't know about those guys. I don't want to say anything too bad, but they're not good. And the owner's like, really? It's not going to end well because those agents are not going to say good things about you. So if they're going to fire you and not use you to manage the property, then you want to sever that relationship sooner than later, is my recommendation. So don't do the security deposit return. You probably just want to terminate your management agreement. Say, listen, if you're going to sell it, totally get it, Mr. Owner. That's your ability to do so. But what we don't want to do is get in the way between you, your tenant, a new buyer, and your new agent. Like, that's too many people involved there. So we're gonna terminate our management agreement. We're gonna step out of the process, which is all about ending well. You want to make sure you end well. You don't want that owner going away angry or mad. And ending a property management relationship almost takes more effort and work than starting one, doesn't it? There's so many things to terminate, legally and otherwise. You want to send everybody away happy. It's hard. It really is difficult to do, which, by the way, we also covered in one of our video coaching things and give you our forms on termination. There's my cheap plug on that as well. But you've got to make sure you're ending the relationship well, so hopefully they will leave you that nice 5-star review. Now, we don't have time to talk about this, but the other part of this is you better darn well be replacing, because for most companies right now, and I do mean most, they are losing more doors than they are replacing. That's a challenge, isn't it? Now watch some of our other videos. Jump over to our website, PM Build. You can watch a bunch of our videos. We talk a lot about replacing owner clients. And one of the things we have over there, if you're interested in that, within our forms package, we've got a forms package. And one of the forms we have in there is the document we have the owner sign for us to do the security deposit if they are terminating and not using us as the agent. Hopefully that makes sense, because we don't want to do the deposit in that case. We're out of the picture. But if they want us to do it, we will, but they have to sign a special doc allowing us to do so. And guess what? There is a charge to the owner for that. So this forms package is worth it just to get that one doc for you. Hey, I hope you found this helpful, my friends. I wish you a lot of success.